Is it a curse on the court? Or is it something else haunting the halls of Kreider Middle School? Caitlin James only has a few days to find out before the curse consumes her forever. Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series, and I am back with another spoiler-free review of The Phantom of Phys Ed by Fred E. Katz, book number 5 in the SPINECHILLERS series. This is a spoiler-free review, so you can watch without worry. There will be no spoilers for other books in the series because these are all standalone stories. So my experience reading SPINECHILLERS, The Phantom of Phys Ed, I read this in one day. Okay, people, it was probably like an hour I read this whole thing. It's not very long, it's pretty short, but I flew through this one. Now, I will say, when I read the previous book, Pizza with Extra Creeps, I actually took a little while through that one because it's a little slower. This book was really well done. I thought it was a lot of fun. It went very quickly. SPINECHILLERS, for those who don't know, is kind of like a Goosebumps ripoff for Christians that was put out by Thomas Nelson back in the 90s. So this has all your 90s nostalgia vibes. If you are looking for that back to 90s stuff, this will give it to you. There's all kinds of talk about CDs and CD-ROMs and all that kinds of stuff. So the series, though, SPINECHILLERS by Freddie Katz, which is actually a pen name for Tim Ayers, is the actual author. This series is kind of up and down. Sometimes there are really great entries in the series, and sometimes there are entries that are just kind of, what was that? So I would say like the very first book, the Dr. Shiver's Carnival, not that great of a book. And then you have ones like Birthday Cake and Ice Cream, which is really good, and this one is on that kind of level. I will say the ending falters just a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but this one was on the level of Birthday Cake and Ice Cream, which was a lot more interesting all the way through. So, like I said, the series is kind of up and down. There's some great entries, there's some not so great entries, and some entries don't really land at all. Like the Attack of the Killer House or Not a Creature Was Stirring, not so great entries. But that's okay. Like I said, I read this book in one sitting. It was only 128 pages, so as soon as I finished reading it, I called my brother, who has also read this book, and I had to talk to him because I wanted to discuss the plot points. There are some interesting things that take place in this book where you see characters doing different things, and the final reveal is not what I expected at all. It actually did surprise me. I did not gasp out loud, but I was thinking, well, I never would have expected this. That's very interesting. I have a lot of questions that the ending does not answer for me. So I am curious what other people thought. My brother and I, we basically laughed about the book because we couldn't stop thinking about some of the different parts in it. I will say this book does have some creepy vibes. There are a couple moments where the main character, Caitlin James, is in the school by herself, where it's a little bit eerie, a little bit abandoned feeling, and it's a little creepy. I thought, wow, okay, you accomplished that kind of eerie setting, which I think is really great in these kinds of books. Whenever there's a desolate sort of feeling, I feel like these books are on top of their game. Each SPINECHILLER book is a standalone story, so there's nothing here that connects to other ones, except for in this book, I can't help but not talk about it. There is a part where someone drops a book on the ground and they have to pick it up, and as they're picking it up, they see that it's a SPINECHILLERS book. I laughed so hard because I thought, what is this? Wait, so they're reading a book. I'm reading a book about kids reading a book that's the same book as this book. So I just couldn't stop laughing when they picked up the book and it was the SPINECHILLERS TM trademarked. It was really pretty funny, I will say. So Caitlin James is a star basketball player who has just moved to a new school, Kreider Middle School, where she hopes to join the basketball team and show everyone how great of a player she really is. However, when her locker ends up being next to the cursed locker of Hezekiah Bones, a basketball player from 50 years ago who mysteriously vanished, Caitlin wonders if there might be more to the school than bullies and bad lunches, because weird things are happening to her. Will she survive in time to break the curse of Hezekiah Bones, or will she become just another team spirit? The chapters in this book are really short. They're very quick to read. It's an easy read. Like I said, there's a lot of 90s vibes throughout this book. As the chapters end, there's often cliffhanger endings to the chapter. And sometimes in other Spine Chillers books, there's cliffhanger endings where there's a noise at the door and a scratch, and they go to open it and they gasp. And then the next chapter begins and it's their playful puppy scratching at the door that just wants to jump on them and lick their face. So sometimes there's kind of fake outs like that. But this book actually had some real danger throughout it, which made it kind of a little more fast-paced, I felt like. Sometimes there were things that happened that I thought, Caitlin James is in legitimate danger, unlike other Spine Chillers books. So I thought that was a great addition to this one. I definitely wanted to keep reading. I obviously did not stop. I read it straight through in one sitting. I did not gasp out loud, like I said, but I did not guess the ending. Maybe because the ending didn't make a lot of sense. I'm not gonna lie, the ending didn't make a lot of sense. I was intrigued though, and I was creeped out by the settings for sure. Caitlin James is a great 90s style hero. She has all of the great tropes. You know, she's a basketball player. She wants to have friends and make friends and with new people and have a good time and all those sorts of things. But I also really like how they dealt with her in this story, where she is really struggling with this idea of the curse. Everyone's telling her about this curse, and some of her experiences seem to confirm the curse. And so she also goes to church, she goes to Sunday school, and she's really trying to reconcile this experience she's having at school with what she believes, and wondering, wait, if I believe in Jesus, can there be such a thing as a curse? And I felt like that tension was really well done in this book. There was no suddenly someone tells her, well, you just need to believe this, and then she suddenly changes. It was a very good gradual build to her character change there. And I can't discuss the villains in this book because that would be a spoiler. So I definitely will keep reading this series, mainly for the 90s vibes, and because some of these stories are not too shabby, I'm not gonna lie. Especially, I can't wait to get to Tuck Me In Mummy, which is about a mummy. I love stories about Egypt and mummies, so that book is in a couple books. I have to read The Venom vs. Me next. This book, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, mainly because the ending was a little bit weak, and in comparison to so many other books that I've read in my lifetime, this one was in the good category, but not outstanding category. But I will say, I probably would reread this because I liked the 90s vibes. It's just a really nostalgic and a lot of fun. So this is great for fans of the Heebie-Jeebies series, another Christian Goosebumps type series from Broadman and Holman, or people looking for that 90s nostalgia. If you like a Christian book and you want to read a 90s type style book, this is a great one. Or if you're fans of books like Jeanette Wendell's books for kids, or readers who are just a little too young yet for Bill Myers's The Forbidden Door series, this is going to be your go-to. You can get these actually pretty easily. They're not hard to find online. They're all used, so you have to get them used. I do believe they have them on ebook in some places. But they're, like I said, not hard to find. They're very cheap, and they're great quick reads for kids who like a good spooky story, but parents who want a little bit of a hopeful side of that. So I definitely recommend Spine Chillers, The Phantom of Phys Ed by Freddie Katz, aka Tim Ayers. Find this one, read it. Tell me what you think. Have you read this book or any other books in this series? Write down in the comments below what you think. And as for next time, keep reading. See you later. Bye.